Power function helps to find the power of a given number. That is, it returns the value of a number, rise it to a power. For example, power 2, 3 if I am going to use, then 2 to the power of 3 it will find out. If all the conditions are false or wrong, then only the output becomes false. Here OR means if any one of the condition, if it is true, then output becomes true here. Serial number if you write, then corresponding number here it will display here. That is, it returns a day of the days corresponding to a serial number or a day. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today, we will start with the second session of Spreadsheet chapter. In the previous session, you have studied regarding Spreadsheet Introduction. What do you mean by spreadsheet? For which purpose we required spreadsheet? Then application of spreadsheet, that is ESS stands for electronic spreadsheet. Then the features of ESS, with that you have studied one program on that. Whereas on today's session, you will come to know the various options of the formatting toolbar, because a very important question in the exam, so many times they ask this question. Then mathematical function, that is mathematical built-in functions, statistical built-in function, logical function, text function, as well as date and time function. Now, one by one we'll discuss. First, we'll discuss about the various options of formatting toolbar. Under that, when they come on the options, under that the first one is formatting font. It means that in this, we can able to change the font of the text. That is, Spreadsheet allows the user to format the text with different styles and sizes. How much size, whichever color we want, whichever style we want, that style we can able to give by using this formatting font. Under that, if I want, I can make the text as bold, italic, or underline, or other different types of text formatting which changes the text to bold, italics and underline format. And here, when we come on this, we can able to align the text also. Whereas in the previous experiment you have studied how to align the text. It means that if you want, you can display the text right side, left side or center, wherever you want. There you can able to insert and you can able to perform the operation. That is alignment we can able to perform. That is, this provides a facility to align the text or data like right, left or center, etc. And with that, here we can merge the cell. This also you have studied in the previous experiment, how to merge the cell. Select whichever cells you want, then click on right button. Under alignment option, you can merge how many cells you want. And if you want, you can make it as center also. That is, we can able to merge the cell. This allows the user to merge number of cells together. Then we can able to perform insert, delete, rows, everything we can able to insert. Consider we are doing one experiment or any work. Here we have entered the values, but we need one more column in between. That also we can able to insert. If I want, I can insert any column in between. It means that I can able to insert, delete, rows, columns, whichever we want. The user can add any number of rows and columns in addition to the defaults. Already whatever rows, columns we have, for that additional rows as well as column we can able to insert as well as we can able to delete. And auto sum, this option is used to find the sum of the cell here. And these are the major features of the formatting toolbar. Next, we'll discuss about the mathematical function, because in the exam, you may to get the question, explain mathematical functions, because for 5 marks on this chapter, you will get 2 questions like write the application of Excel or write the features of Excel or where we are using or what are the advantages of using this Excel, or you may to get the question, explain statistical built-in function, mathematical built-in function, financial built-in function, like that. You may want to get the question on that. Where here mathematical built-in functions is nothing but here it helps to perform the mathematical operations. Under that, the first one, absolute. Whereas this function returns the absolute value of a number within a sign. If you observe in this example, absolute minus 35 we are given. It means that here whatever the result may be positive or negative, the output must and should be in positive format. That is absolute function. And the next one is fact function. Whereas this fact function returns the factorial of a number. Inside the bracket, whichever number you will write, for that it will going to give the factorial. That is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, like that you can able to get the factorial of the given number. Then the next one is GCD. This function returns the greatest common divisor. If you observe here GCD 4, 2, then the greatest common divisor is 2 here. Like that, I can use some of the mathematical functions. Next, mode function. Whereas this mode function returns the remainder. It returns the remainder after a number is divided by a divisor. Here, for example, mode of 15, 2. Then what happens here? 15. I will divide by 2. Then here 14 is here remainder 1. This we can get by using mode function. Then SQRT function. Whereas SQRT function helps to find the square root of a given number. It returns the square root of a number. Here, for whichever number you want, you can find the square root. Then power function. Power function helps to find the power of a given number. That is, it returns the value of a number, rise it to a power. For example, power 2, 3 if I am going to use, then 2 to the power of 3 it will find out. That is here power of a comma b if I am going to write, then a to the power of b it will find out. Now it's clear. Next we will move on the next one, that is statistical functions. Whereas already you have studied the mathematical function. Under mathematical function, absolute, fact, GCD, mode, SQRT, power function. Whereas when you come on statistical function, on that it takes large number of cell values and it will generate a single result here. That is statistical built-in functions. Under that we have average function. Whereas average function helps to find the average of the numbers. This function returns the average of its arguments, that is range of cells. Example here average of 10, 20, 30 if I am going to give, then it will generate the average result. And the next function under statistical is large function. It returns the required large value in a data set. Under the selected values or under the selected cell, it will return the largest number. Then max function. Whereas max function helps to find the largest value in a set of values. On this given set of values, which is the largest we can able to find out here. Whereas in the previous session, you have studied how to find the maximum minimum of a student marks list. Is it no? There we are using this max function. It's a statistical built-in function. Next, min function. Whereas min function helps to find the minimum value in a given set of values. It returns smallest number in a set of values. On this list, which is the smallest number, that here it will display. And the next one, permute function. Whereas it returns the number of permutation for a given number of objects that can be selected from the total objects here. Here permute 5, 3, then it will going to generate the result 60. Then count function, whereas count function helps to count how many number of cells are there. Whereas it counts the number of cells in a range that contains the number. Here if I am going to give from where to where, then that cell address, then it will display how many cells are there here or how many rows are there. Like that we can able to count here. These are the few statistical function. Next we will move on the next one, logical functions. Whereas logical function means here logically we have to analyze and we have to display the result. Whereas in mathematical function, mainly it helps to perform the mathematical operation like absolute, like that, and square root, absolute, fact. But when you come on statistical function, their average, max, mean, count, all are belongs to statistical function. Whereas logical function helps to find, logically analyze the result and it will generate the result here. Whereas logical, especially here, if logic test condition, value if true, value if false. It means that for if condition, here we are using this logical function. This function checks the condition and returns a value if test is true, and otherwise value is, it returns the false. If the condition satisfy, then it will display it as true. If the condition not satisfy, then it will display it as false value. For example, if average is greater than or equals to 60, then it will display it as first. This is the condition. If this condition satisfy, then the second value here it will go to execute. If the condition is not satisfied, then the last value here it will go to execute here. Now is it clear? Then the next one, if condition. Whereas in if condition, we have apply the condition and we'll get the result. But in and condition, all the condition has to be satisfied. When we say the result is passed, consider that student has written the exam for 4 subjects. When we say the result is passed, when each and every subject must and should be greater than or equals to 35, then only we can say pass. Is it no? It means that and first subject and second subject and third subject and fourth subject, there we are using the concept and. Here and logic 1 and logic 2, like that all the conditions, all the logics here we have to write. This function returns true if all the statement, if all its arguments are true. Statements, or we can say arguments, returns false if one or more arguments are false here. For example, and 3 is less than 5. Condition satisfy. 8 equals 8. Then the result here we are going to get it as true, because here we have written and option. Both the condition has to be satisfied, whereas here 2 conditions are there. That's why 2 condition has to be satisfied. If you have multiple condition, all the multiple condition has to be satisfied, then only it will display as true. Otherwise it will display it as false. Whereas here and A is greater than 5. Here 3 is greater than 5. Is it a true value? No, it is not a greater than 5. And 8 equals to 8. Here this one satisfied, but the first one is not satisfied. That's why it will display the result as false here. Now is it clear? Under logical function, the one more is OR concept. Whereas AND means each and everything has to be satisfied. But when they come on OR concept, if any one of the conditions satisfy, then output represents true. If all the conditions are false or wrong, then only the output becomes false. Here OR means if any one of the condition, if it is true, then output becomes true here. That is OR logic 1, logic 2, how many logics you want, you can write. It returns true if one or more arguments are true here. Conditions, arguments are true here. It returns false if all its arguments are false here. In the example, R 3 is less than 5, condition satisfy. 8 is not equals to 8, like that we are given, then the result is true. Here A 3 is greater than 5, condition not satisfy. Here it will to display it as false here. Then the next one, not. Whereas not is nothing but just a reverse of your input operation. It reverses the value of its arguments. That is not 3 is less than 5, it returns false. 3 is greater than 5, that it returns true. It's just a reverse of your input operation. These are the few logical functions. Next, under that, if error. If error means here value if error. It returns the value if error is there. If the expression contains error, otherwise it returns the value of the expression. In this example, if you observe, if error 23 divided by 100, then division by 0. Then division by 0, like that. If there is error, then it will display the value, whatever value here we are given. If any number, if it is divided by 0, then it is an invalid number, is it? That's why it will display division by 0. Now is it clear? Next we will move on the next one, that is text functions. But when they come on text function, this helps to perform the operations, especially for the text concept. Here under that length text, whereas the length function helps to find the length of the given string. This function returns the number of characters in a text string. In this example, if I have length Mysore Palace, that will count how many characters are there and it will display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That will display the value including the space also. Next, left. Whereas here, text number characters. It returns the specified number of characters from left of the text string. From left, how many characters are there? That here, if I'm going to write 3, then in the left, how many 3 characters are there? If I'm going to write 5, from left, how many characters are there? Like that, I can able to find how many characters are there. Which are that characters also I can able to find here. Then exact. Whereas exact function is mainly used when you want to check both are is it same or not, exactly same or not. It checks whether two strings are same or not. Both the string is it same or not, it will check, and it returns true when they are same. Otherwise, it returns false. It is a case sensitive also. What do you mean by case sensitive? It means that if you write in uppercase, that is in capital letter, then also it make it as a different meaning. If you're going to write in small letter, then also it is going to give different meaning here. Exact, India, India, both are same string. One if I'm going to write in capital and one more if I'm going to write small, then it will display as false there. Now is it clear? Next under text function, upper. Whereas this upper helps to convert the given string to uppercase, that is in capital letter. It converts a text string to all uppercase letters. For example, upper abacus if I'm going to write, then the result you're going to get in capital letter, upper. Because abacus are written in small letter, when it will convert this into upper, then I'm going to get abacus in a capital letter. Then repeat text times. How many times I want to repeat the same text, that also I can able to perform here. That it returns a text string given number of times. How many number of times I want, that many times I can able to repeat here. Example, repeat M5 if I'm going to write, then 5 times that M will display here. Okay. And the next one, concatenate function. Whereas concatenate is nothing but combining, joining. How many strings I want, that many strings we can able to combine. For example, I'm going to give Anu is one and string. Shri is one string. This is one string, Anu, and Shri is one more string. By using concatenate, I can make Anu Shri. I can combine both the string here. That is, here it is used to join two or more string into a single string format. Example, concatenate Charles and one more we have Babbage. Then the output you are going to get Charles Babbage. Now is it clear? Next we will move on to the next function, that is especially next built-in functions, that is date and time functions. Whereas Excel stores date and time as serial numbers, the year starts from 1900, serial number 1 to 311279. Serial number is 65745 in Excel format. That means it consider the serial number is 1 for this given date, and it will going to consider for this serial number the number is 65745. Like that, automatically it will consider that number. Then whereas date function helps to display the year, month as well as day. Whereas here it returns the serial number of a particular date. Whichever date here will enter, for example 2014. Next we will enter the month, then day here. Then it will returns 41683. Like that it will display the date. Then day. Here serial number if you write, then corresponding number here it will display here. That is, it returns a day of the days corresponding to a serial number or a date. Example, day 41683 if I am going to write, then it will return 13. Now is it clear? Next, month is one of the functions of date and time functions. Under that, this will display serial number whichever date you will write, for that date it will go to display. For whichever month you will write as well as whichever date you will write, for that it will display the corresponding serial number. It returns the month corresponding to the serial number or date here. For example, month 13th February or month 41683, that it will return 2 here. Then year function, whereas here also inside the bracket you write the serial number, then it returns the year corresponding to a serial number or date. For example, if you consider the year 2014, then or the year 41683, then it will return 2014. That is the year it will go to display. Whichever year you will write, that year it will display here. Next, weekday. There also inside the bracket you write the serial number. This function returns the day of the week corresponding to the serial number or a date, whichever date we are given. Under that, the day is ranging from Sunday to 7, that is Saturday. If I am going to write Sunday 1, 2, 3 like that, it will display. For example, weekday 2014 or weekday 41683, then it returns 4, because on that, which is the day exactly which week it belongs to, that it will going to display here, that is Wednesday. Here it will display. Now is it clear? The next one is today function. There is a difference between today as well as now function. Whereas today function helps to display the corresponding or today's date, whereas now function helps to display the corresponding date, that is for today's date with time also it will display. That is today function returns the current date only, whereas now function returns the current date as well as time also. See, whichever date as well as whichever time exactly we have everything, here it will display, including date as well as timing also. Whereas here it just display the date only. Now is it clear? These are the few date and time functions. Now is it clear? This completes your spreadsheet concept. Whereas in this chapter, you will get the questions, the application of spreadsheet or features of spreadsheet, or you're going to get the questions like what do you mean by spreadsheet, or expand ESS, that is electronic spreadsheet, then which are the built-in functions, or you may to get the question explain statistical built-in function, mathematical built-in functions, or logical built-in function, or date and time built-in function. Each question, especially these questions for 5 marks in the exam, you may going to get. That is all built-in functions you have to remember, the application of Excel, then features of Excel, why we required Excel, that is advantage of Excel. These are the major concepts you have to study on this chapter. Thank you for all of you.